Hello, welcome to another Poetry Cake and Hyperbole. Today we have two Amy's and a Blaise as well as me, and it is Ladies Poetry Night. And I'm going to bring everybody on screen for a minute. On scream. You can tell I'm a horror writer. So hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to read a lot of poetry. And we have a surprise at the intermission. We are going to read haiku. So that could be good. But I am going to start with Blaise, if you're ready, Blaise.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Not to put you on the spot, but yeah, tell us about yourself. Tell us about your work and why you write poetry, and then don't feel rushed, and then we'll let you read.
Oh, okay. So I've always written poetry like for my own enjoyment. Last spring I started, I submitted some for the first time to CBC here in Canada has a poetry contest. And I submitted to that. And then I finally thought, what was I afraid of? Like, who cares? If somebody says they don't like it, it doesn't matter. And so after that, I enjoy horror. I write horror, kind of sci-fi, speculative fiction. And so I just started writing and submitting. And so I just really kind of got back into it. I think it was just something for myself, something for me to feel good about, get out that kind of emotion, anything like that. And so since then I've had publications with different people like Black Hair Press, Erie River Publishing, Ghost Orchid Press, Space and Time magazine. Who else? Black Spot Books has something coming up. Pulp Factory Easy, lots of different things. So mostly short stories, some poetry, flash fiction, that kind of stuff. So I write it because I like it. I think poetry is the art of words. I like how it sounds. I like how it feels. And that's about it. So I guess I'm supposed to read one now anyway. So I think I'll start. I write like horror or speculative fiction. And so I don't know which one I'm going to start with. I'll just read this one. Okay, this one makes me nervous, but here I go. So this is called Attachment. It eludes me. I wait for that moment, the electric, clutch it to your chest until you absorb it, heart bursting at the seams moment. But I am left waiting. The weight of my inadequacies pressed down from shoulders to soles, and I am small under the strain. Umbilicus turned lasso, I attempt to tame it, lure it into submission, and am left empty-handed. It dares me, taunts me, begs me, but my clumsy heart cannot grab hold. Maybe I will love her tomorrow. And that's it.
Oh, I love that.
That's all I have to say about that.
No, you have to say a little more. What inspired that? Uh-oh, she might have froze.
I hope it wasn't.
Oh. Did you?
I'm here.
What? Okay, that's it. Froze for a minute. What inspired that? Like, where did you write that from?
So our daughter's adopted, and we have 4 children, and she's our youngest. And I think I found it really hard. I just expected to attach right away and to have this kind of mother-daughter bond. And I think it was really hard to kind of come to terms with the feelings that would take a while.
Yeah.
And so it is really emotional because I think it's one of those things that just really came from that place of how do I feel about this, and how does it make me feel to know and admit to myself that, I couldn't say I loved her yet. I couldn't say, even though she was ours, I couldn't say those things yet. So I think that that's where it came from. It just came from that kind of ouchy place inside that I thought I just had to get out, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. And super brave to be able to admit that too.
Yeah, I think it's hard. People don't talk about that when they talk about adopting kids or even being a mother, motherhood in general. People don't talk about the fact that it's not all kittens and rainbows and oh, I love you so much and I'm going to throw myself in front of a bus. For myself anyways, it's not just like that. Like it takes time to develop that. With the boys, I think it was different because from their biological nature, I think was a little bit different. I had them from infancy, and she came in as a toddler, so it was a little bit different. But yeah, I think it took a while to sort of get in that groove of I'm your mom and we have this bond and I love you. So it took a little while.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you for sharing that too. And thanks for coming on and being brave, not only to write about it, but then to share it.
Thanks.
Awesome. All right. Well, we have two Amy's to pick from. I am going to try to pronounce her name right. Well, Amy, I can say that. But we're going to have Amy she just pronounced it. Langevin.
You can pronounce it that way if you want. It sounds better. It's actually Langevin with like a hard G.
Langevin.
Yeah. It's a weird one. It's weird.
Now, I love it because it reminds me, is it like blood wine? It's a translation for blood wine? Or am I completely off center?
Well, it could be. I don't know. It's French. And I think they pronounce it way differently. But when it comes into like, my parents told me like we pronounce it Langevin in America. So
Langevin. Okay.
I mean, we could be wrong. Like my whole family might just be making up their own way to pronounce it. So
yeah, I just found out Yuriko, which is for my grandmother, actually means like the lilies, like a lily of the valley kind of lily. And I have been told all my life it's water lilies.
That's really pretty.
Those are different flowers, but
yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah. Well, are you ready to read? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so I guess, should I do an introduction or?
Yeah, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. You can talk about the poem you're going to read, just so we can get to know you a little bit. And I am really super excited because we have talked on email for quite a while about books and all sorts of things. This is the first time I actually get to see you moving.
Yeah, it's really nice to meet you. So
yeah, you too.
Yeah, because when I picked up your book, I was just like, I was actually really depressed and like almost suicidal, and I just typed in like suicide into the into Amazon. Like I don't even know why, and then Bittersweets came up, and I was like, that's fascinating. Wow. I got that, and then it was I loved it because it was it cheered me up, but it was also like the messages were so good, but it was also so dark, and like I really like that balance of like just really like dark, unique, edgy stuff mixed in with like a really solid, good message. That's kind of like, it felt like almost like shadow work in a way.
Yeah.
Like you feel something deep in your soul. Like it was really nice. So I appreciated, finding that. And
thank you. That actually totally makes my day. That is way better than somebody telling me anything else about it, because that's why I wrote it. We had a friend that was doing the cycle, like trying to commit suicide, getting locked up, coming back out, everything is fine, but then just going right back into the cycle. And that was my inspiration, is like, what if she could just do it, but then come back? Like, just get it out of her system, be successful, figure out the whole thing, but then come back. What would you learn? Hopefully not to do it. So that makes me feel good. That was the point.
Yeah, it was super creative. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's your spotlight now, so go ahead and tell us a little about yourself, and I am going to disappear.
Okay, well, basically, I'm just kind of getting into the writing thing, really. Like, I started writing at work when I was bored, because I worked in a jewelry shop and there wasn't much going on between customers. So I just started writing like some poetry and short stories. And I don't know if I just got lucky or not, but they got published like right away. So I had like published in 2 anthologies, and then I got like 5 poems into one little chapbook. And that was pretty much it for a while, because I kind of got into a block, because I kind of have issues with like depression myself, and you can't really write in those energies. So nothing happened for a few years, and then I put together like my own self-published poetry collection, which I don't know if you can see it, this one. So that's what I'll be reading from today. The poem I'm going to read is called Ruby Splashes. Ruby splashes from cold slashes, warm this frosty flesh with soft caresses, and steel, which breathes in sharp fire, paints this my dark amorous desire. But not so sweet is its song of steel against flesh and in flesh drawn, as the song each split vein sings out, persuading my blade to repeat each clout. Its dark ardent inspiration colors crimson these walls of my prison. But though death's melody tempts sweet, through blood-kissed lashes my eyes still meet, in helpless paralyzation, the drain of life, my morbid mutation. Life mine and never mine again. Life which with these last haggard breaths will end. Life never to see or be seen by anyone. Life never to love or be loved by anyone. Life never to touch or be touched or touch deny. And as what remains of me slips away, my eyes freeze under the realization of my unfixable expiration. Each cut so deep, so permanent, already can I smell my flesh ferment. So become my flesh the pale moon, adorned with ruby sparkles, which lies strewn as vast constellations over its plateau, deep stains of pain it shall forever stow. For on the moon nothing ever fades, but lies eternal in death's soothing cascade. Now I enter this transpiration with each cellular depreciation. I come to you, warm melody. I come to you, comforting harmony. Pave the path that's spade, and make me walk my blade. And that's it.
Sorry about that. I was actually trying to share the link to that, and I am a slow link sharer.
Oh, thank you.
No, that was beautiful. And I actually am really glad that you read from that, because that is how we met, isn't it?
Partly, yeah.
And I love that, because tell us a little bit about it, because it is like really a unique thing. It is a whole book, a whole storyline in poetry about.
Yeah, I can actually, I'll read the back for you. And thank you for supporting it, because there's, I got smashed on Goodreads from people. I don't know if they were just offended by the content, because some people said like, some people were like, I enjoyed the style and the writing, but then they had a rape scene, so she gave it a 1. And then there were like other people, they just like, I know some people are going to hate it, like I respect that, but I also felt like, you know, maybe I should have had a content warning, because a lot of people were like, what is wrong? Like, there's no content warning. And because
you probably could do that.
Yeah, I actually I changed it. I gave a new cover, and then I put a content warning big and bold, because I felt, you know, it's a good idea. And when I was writing it from my darker perspective, so it didn't. It has a very high threshold, and not a lot of people do. So I had to learn that, and I was happy I did, because I guess maybe the back wasn't specific enough. But anyway, I'm rambling. Sorry. So I'll read the back. Just the summary is Zoellers, a 28-year-old depressive, arranges to be taken by death, but his suicide fails, and he ends up proposing to the supernatural entity instead. Death accepts Zoellers' heart and takes up partial residence in his being, which allows death to affect the tangible realm at whim. Manipulated like a puppet, Zoellers becomes entangled in death's countless affairs and finds himself continuously washing blood off his hands as his life and everyone in it descends into a whirlwind of mania and slaughter. And it's just basically, I had a bunch of poetry that was kind of like from a serial killer perspective. And then I decided, like, I kind of want to publish my own little thing. And I started trying to find an order. And I think that's when the story came, because I was like, I don't want it to just be like a bunch of random poems. I wanted to have like I wanted to have a form. So then that's when the story came out. So when I was trying to put a form together, the story came out, and I just went with it, because I was just having fun. I didn't know how crazy people are going to get over it. But luckily, it's not like big, so, you know.
Speaking of fire trucks.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid with my dogs. Because I live right near a hospital. I was like, oh my God, what if like it, because look, they go by all day.
Yeah. Well, between my fire trucks and my howling dogs, when the fire truck goes by, I think you're going to be fine.
Okay. They're like background.
Yeah, exactly. It heightens the poetic mood of spontaneity that we've got going on. Well, thank you for sharing that. That is awesome. I love that book. And there always is that delicate place between how dark do we get, but that's where we're writing from. And sometimes I think, like, you know, that bravery that we just talked about, it's important to recognize that we do have these things, so that if we just seal frosting over it, the cake is still rotten inside. And that's kind of what dark poetry is to bring it out, to recognize it, and sometimes celebrate it, because without the darkness, you can't have the light. So I think it's awesome that you do that.
Thank you. Yeah, I believe that too, because a lot of people, they're so uncomfortable with it. But I'm like, it's not about, you know, when I write, so I'm not supporting these things. I'm just talking about how the human can get to that point. It's not about like erasing the fact that sometimes I'm angry and I want to impale somebody. It's like, recognize that in yourself, learn to control it, and learn to, you know, use
Yeah.
it or alchemize it, or just do something where it can be useful for you or other people. But like, don't fear these things so much.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm a big believer in bringing it out into the light because it takes the power away from it.
Right. Yeah. It takes it away from us and other people.
So awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank
and we
you.
actually have another Amy coming. This is the Amy night. We've got Amy Z over here. Do you not want me to say your last name?
Hey, hey.
Hey, Amy.
Oh, you can say it, Zoellers. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Amy Z
Yeah, I
does
don't know.
sound so cool.
No. Yeah. Everywhere I work, I was always Amy Z because there's always another Amy. You know, it's a very popular name. It means beloved. So that's a nice thing to do to your child.
And we do love all our Amy's. Stop. But
All right.
not free.
Oh,
Hey, goodness gracious. This is like noise night. Hush. We are doing a thing this Sunday.
wait for the poetry.
We're doing a thing this Sunday, Amy. Do you want to talk about it real quick?
Sure.
Then introduce yourself and everything.
Okay. All righty. So this Sunday is our monthly poetry reading on Instagram. I don't know about Angela. I've had one person send me a poem and one person promise to. So there will be at least two other than mine that I'll be reading. And
I've
and
been so busy. I forgot. I haven't asked anybody.
No,
Anybody want to
worry.
send me some poetry and I'll read it on Sunday with Amy?
I think that, like, I put out one call for poetry and Pete Kelly sent one. So I'm like, okay, I better put out another just so it's not just Pete, me, and you know, I'm just thinking, but it doesn't matter.
Grab random books. Oh, I never got to read The Highwayman. I'll read The Highwayman for sure.
Cool.
But,
I'm excited. I've been reading The Practicing Poet, and there was this very cool form that I discovered that I didn't know about. So I'm going to be hopefully finishing one that I was writing in the back of a book of Patti Smith lyrics because I was picking up my kid from school and I didn't have any paper, and I'm like, I'll just write it in the back. Do you ever do that? Do you guys have books that you just have written poetry in because that's what you had to write on at the time? I have like 5 of those at least. I don't know.
Yeah, the important thing is
that'll be
getting
this
it out.
Sunday at exactly. And I have to do it with my hand. If I do it in my notes and my phone, I won't ever remember, and didn't really happen and all that. So so that's this Sunday on Instagram Live at 2:00 Central Time, and it's at Hypness and Outrage, or either one of us, it should pop up that we're doing it. Usually it pops up that I started live with you or something. So I'm gonna put that in the chat when I'm not talking, I guess. I'll put
I'll try to find it while you're reading. Yeah, I'll go find it while you're reading and share it.
Okay, cool.
Now, tell us about you, and I'm going to disappear.
Okay, my name is Amy Zoellers. I live in Independence, Missouri, which is my hometown, but I didn't always live here. We went away for like 16 or 17 years and went overseas a couple of times, and now we're back in like actually my childhood home, which is so funny. But it just kind of worked out that way. My dad wasn't ready to let it go, but he also can't get around in it. So we took it over, and here we are. And I do art that's on Instagram at Hypness and Outrage, like oil pastel portraits. I just started a series called 11 Singing Women. I just did 7 singing men. I could go on and on with singing men, and I thought, damn it, there's a lot of cool singing women out there. And so I'm doing them now, and just finished my 100-day project in harps, little harp moments. You're not going to go and hear my harp songs and be like, oh my gosh, I'm not classically trained. It's like pop songs on the harp. Did 100 days of that, still doing them because can't stop. And then 100 days of the poem pictures, which was what the singing men were in and stuff. So, but I'm just going to, oh gosh, I wrote this a couple of days ago while waiting for my kid to come out from school, and I didn't revise it. So God help us all. It's called Self-Portrait minus Coffee. Well, damn it. See, the coffee has me jittery. And hadn't I long ago intended to do as Patti Smith and jam a teapot full of mint leaves? Free, mine, from my own garden bed. A teapot called Folklore, enameled, embellished with fox and owl and spooky tree against midnight sky. Hadn't I? Coffee was emblem of poet until Patti Smith came and released me from my fantods. The caffeine is not the drug I need, but instead, the symbol lures me, the persona and the aroma. But once begun, who can stop the pouring of the blessed mud? Who can stop the pounding of the aging heart? You can, oat straw. you, peppermint, abounding beside the concrete porch steps. My mother-in-law will utter confusion at Christmas gifts of dried mint leaves and catnip and strawberry jam handmade, but we are not made of money. Of the end. Thank you.
I love that. I love that. I see this is why Amy and I wind up doing stuff together all the time, because I've always got we're all going to die. It sucks. Everything sucks. And then you've got Amy and she's so happy. She like cheers me up.
I just wish I was cool and deep and like gothic and all that
You
stuff.
are
And
cool and deep.
it comes out like this.
That's okay.
So
at one time in my life, I tried to write Bible studies. We just
oh,
have to write who we are.
You do. You do. But you know what? There was a phase when I was a nanny that I was like, I'm going to write children's stories. And I would write them and I would be like, yes, this is going to be the most cool. And it would always turn out like so scary. I'm like, whoops. So I need to kind of revisit that and see where I can go. But nobody must see this. So
the best children's books are scary.
That's what I always liked. Yeah, exactly.
So, well, awesome. Thank you. We're going to do another. Oh, I guess I need to read. Sorry.
Yep.
So, okay, I will read now. And I did share the Hypness and Outrage link down in the chat. What I'm going to read from is one of the reasons why I've been so busy is my daughter and I published a book together of poetry. And we don't name who the poems are going to be or were by because it was a lot of mixing up, but we wrote it during 2020. She had just moved to Brazil. I'm sorry, she had not intended to move to Brazil. She's actually still in Brazil. But she had gone to Brazil on a trip because she was going through divorce right when COVID hit. So she got stuck there. And she's still there. Now she's had a baby and she's married and, everything is great. But during 2020, it was dark enough anyways. And then here we were kind of with this separate existence with her over there. And, and I was like, oh, it's a good thing you're in Brazil because it's safe over there. Oh, no, actually, you guys are as bad as we are here in the US. So there was a lot of stress. We wrote this book together over time. And then we decided to publish it this month for Mother's Day. So that was also kind of one of those crazy things that kept me busy. But it is on Amazon in hardback and ebook right now. And it's actually doing a special program with Amazon to test out their new hardback program. So Amazon is going to have hardbacks widely available very soon in the self-published or indie published arena. And the book is called Kraken Fever, as in Kraken, the monster in the deep. So this is called Kraken Fever, or Kraken Up, I'm sorry. This year, we are underwater, drowning, perpetual frowning, sodden with weeping while the world shuts down. We tread water, heads bobbing, just on the surface, gulping for breath that could be death. Air, laced with confusion, is our enemy. We imprison ourselves, no crime, just a sentence, transforming our room to a tomb, where we wait out at the bottom of the sea, buried in silence. One voice, one unmasked smile could save or undo us. We cry, die inside to stay safe, cracking up. So, and that was kind of how we felt a lot of 2020, as I'm sure everybody pretty much felt, is we're so isolated. And even if you enjoy being isolated, like I'm pretty much an introvert, when even the introverts are getting tired of being stuck inside, it's time to be done with this whole pandemic thing. So, but that was from Kraken Fever, and I am going to go back to Blaise if she's ready, and we will start another round of poetry. Thank you so much for everybody. These are great. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Nope. We got to do our haiku. Sorry. We're going to do our haiku because I am super organized. And I'm pretty sure that a haiku that are rude and linked are called haikai no renga. And I could be wrong, so any Japanese poets, please feel free to correct me in chat. Otherwise, I'm saying that we're doing a haikai no renga. And I just did this book with Lee Murray. This is why I'm crazy. One of the reasons why I'm crazy. And so I wrote my haiku on this book. And then I'm going to Blaise, and then Amy, and then Amy Z, and then we'll just keep on going till we don't have no more haiku, which this is my only one. The poop on my head is there at my own request. I can blame no one.
Oh, I like that. Oh, goodness. Okay, so I have one that's an actual haiku, and then I have two other poop poems. So I'll read the haiku one right now. So this one doesn't have a title, just about poop. The fascination with feces does not end when little boys are men.
And this is so true.
Very true. I mean, I still find poop funny, but like
I do find poop funny. I am very immature. I apologize.
me too.
I
have 3 boys, and like poop is constant.
Yeah,
constant in our house. Poop.
Farting is also still funny to me. So
yeah, and to the bum holes, like
yeah,
it's
buttholes are fascinating. And that kind of a weird, like, oh, I'm obsessed. I can't look away. But
I was in a meeting, and my youngest boy came in and said something about his anus, and I was like, oh my gosh. That's just life in our house.
It happens. All right.
Yeah.
Amy Langevin. Amy L.
Langevin. Okay. I don't have a title. I just called it haiku number 1. Slip out, 4-caged beast. Coil, spit, observe new lands. Spring before the flush.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Thank you.
And flesh too. I was kind of thinking of like blushing, flushing, but also flesh.
Yeah, I wanted to personify it. I thought that was scary.
Awesome. Yeah. No, and we just had John join us, and I know John can hear us, so I don't know if he has his haiku ready. Awesome. We're gonna read Amy. Amy, go next. Then John, and then you know what? I think let's all read them again, but just really smoothly, like one big poem. I just want to hear all of these together. All right, go, Amy.
Ear canal deformed, launched the earbuds straight down to befouled cat litter.
So we're covering the full range of feces in this Haikai no Renga. Hey, John, welcome to Ladies' Night. We'll still let you in.
I am so honored to be here amongst all these amazing poetesses. It feels weird to add gender to the poet, but poets, poetesses.
Poeticas.
But I do have glorious and gorgeous eyelashes, and that is my excuse for being here.
This is true. When you have to have one man for Ladies' Night Out, or it's no fun, right?
I feel that rule is unnecessary, but I am honored to be here. I'm happy to be here with you guys, ladies, women, people who may or may not identify as female.
See, he knows he has to tread carefully now. He's like, shit.
I have so many envy. That's my bulldog stumbling around trying to get her food. I have so many NB friends, and I am the worst at they, them. I'm terrible at it, and I feel awful every time.
Yeah.
And any of my NB friends...
Oh, we lost your sound. He's fixing his sound. You're muted. I'm going to unmute you. Nope, I think you muted yourself. So this is also why I don't be too serious about poetry and things like this, because this is a creative, crazy process. All right, while he's fixing that, I think let's read another round. We'll read all of these together, and then we'll end up with John. All right, so I'll start with my poopy haiku, and then we'll just go and we'll see how these turn out all together. The poop on my head is there at my own request. I can blame no one.
The fascination with feces does not end when little boys become men.
Flip out, poor caged beast. Coil, sit, observe new lands. Spring before the flush.
Ear canal deformed. Launch the earbuds straight down to befoul cat litter.
All right, John, sign language. Show us your poop.
I fall within poop. An entire planet, shit. Flush me down away.
I love it. I love it. That was a good thing.
I forgot I needed to write that until you mentioned it. So that's my frantic was me writing.
He feigned the whole sound thing.
No, my.
But that was good. It's a ruse. That was good.
Yeah, super good too for like such a on-the-fly haiku.
Yeah.
I cut my teeth on writing quick poetry. There we go. Trying to fix my microphone.
Okay.
Hello! I'm so sorry I'm late.
That's okay. Better. Well, we saved the best for last, right? Our token mic.
I'm also sorry I'm sober.
Oh, it explains a lot, like why the sound didn't work.
Everything's much smoother when I'm sober. I miss everyone's introductions, and I'm sad because I love meeting new poets and new writers.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? Go ahead and introduce yourself real quick. Tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself. And then I have an intermission video, which is actually the Exquisite Corpse from Space and Time that we put together. Ryan did a nice little video for me, and then we will go into another round.
Cool. I have poetry ready.
Awesome. Are you writing it now?
No, I wrote it. I wrote it last week. I wrote it last time 5 minutes before.
Awesome. All right. Did you want to introduce yourself, or wait till after when you read?
Oh, I'll wait till after. I would love to meet everyone else.
Okay. Well, we can do a little bit of quick introduction too as we go, this time again. All right, I'm going to play this little video to Ryan for making this for me. Well, for us, I guess. And
I'm gonna melt that gold and crown myself queen of the fools.
She, decked in golden jewels, wig styled high into the heaven, let out a tongue pop.
Color spread, coalescing into my soul as I ascend.
Technicolor shift, spectrum humming, glimmering infinite. It wasn't easy keeping human form. The digital dragon avatar lays atop the pot of gold, another job outsourced. You have not found your pot of gold. Walk on, becoming mist over this glowing bridge. No rainbows found in those spaces, confined and denied. The shadowy spots you're hidden behind. The weight of the heavens releasing prisms, which divide and reveal your true colors. Supercell wind of winds wormholing earthwards. Color spray the scarecrow's eyes. Testicular cluster of lion's mane. Chop fight of the cavernous. Inside it, the piecemeal pulses. So many previous lovers now all disembodied. I think you're all wrong to want a heart. Due to unforeseen circumstances, Molly's requiem has been indefinitely postponed. The setting sun gave out a last gasp over the horizon, where all color fades and eternal darkness pervades. Chasing tears of light before the darkness turns tinges into absence. After 100,000 million colors, purple more than purple. On the lonely horizon, a water droplet chorus refracts siren song. The dulcet tones sweetly trill upon expectant ears. and bitter. I listen, guarding my horde of horrors. Hues of hate, rage, and jealousy carried over the dark horizon with fear and disgust cause me to wonder where my rainbow of loneliness and shame ends. A cauldron overflowing with coins from corpses, blood money for the bone ferry. Congealing colours oozing puddles, sick, slick, slime threads fraying in the last rays of sunset. The fading of the hues and the truth of the end. Hearts held hope, a gold already ours, star bright, our spectral companion. The sky cleared and the sun smiled, but the rain wouldn't stop falling inside my head. Molten gold cannot still the lips, nor quench the fire of colour. Where the sky weeps obsidian tears, colours fade, and desire dies. The colour at the end of the rainbow was beyond violet, a fugue of incandescent possibilities. The colours were one thing, the path another, but the joy was in the fall, tipping right over the edge of the end.
Okay, I thought that was going to go away by itself. That, I should have said, is the exquisite corpse that we do at the magazine once a month. Everybody sends in a line. At the end of that, you got to see who contributed to that. You were in that, weren't you, Blaise? Didn't you contribute a line to that one? Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And I know one Amy did. Amy L did. Didn't you at one time? Maybe not this one, but a different one?
I can't remember. I wanted
Okay.
to. I don't think I did though.
Okay.
Because I remember like finding out about it, and that's so cool. I'm gonna do it. But that was watching your last Cake and Hyperbole.
Oh,
so
right. Yeah.
it would have been between that time. So if I didn't contribute one between that time, then I didn't do it.
Okay. Well, I'm posting the link to contribute this time for whoever's watching or anybody that wants to. Everybody can post a line. I know it says that it's going to be updated on the 13th. That's in the perfect world. So that will happen after this is over with. Somebody will go put that prompt up. And if anybody has some good ideas for prompts, feel free to share them either in the chat or in this video. But I think we're ready for round two. What do you guys think? Let's start with John this time. So, since he kind of came in late, this is his punishment. And then we'll just go in the same order. John, Blaise, Amy L, Amy Z. Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Lovely. It's working now. Okay.
All right. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello,
and
everyone.
The poem that we're going to read, and then go ahead.
My name is John Baltisberger. I am the publishing editor over at Madness Heart Press, and I gotta try it. I write Jewish horror and horror poetry and kaiju stuff. Sometimes I write Jewish kaiju horror poetry. It's a whole thing. This is, I don't remember writing this, but I think I wrote this while walking. It's called You May or May Not. You may or may not know I'm a poet, that I can kick it wicked with all the sick kids until giving shit gives way to brutal honesty. Honestly peddling modesty and quality over quantity, but get rid of the novelty and past the comedy, you're left with a harmony of policy on self-deprivation. Looking for medication through excavation that leads to elevation past our deprivation that feeds on the weakness of like-minded fools. These men are ghouls, feeding on the cooling corpses that we leave strewn about schools thanks to a mandate that deifies tools and devices over the very lives of our children. How can you not listen to the million voices calling, ushered by cocked and loaded, calling from a life too short-lived but already eroded, devoted to a cult of molded witches voted in by bloated, blinded servants to greed? Break past the valley to be freed from a creed that puts bullets on the pedestal, held up by skeletal hands trembling at terrible, unbearable parables etched in the lockers with shrapnel. What freedoms do our freedoms cost, and how many lives lost that are tossed aside and crossed off a list of people whose lives matter, served on a platter to the porcine god of unclean morals? We mortals deserve no laurels for allowing the wicked to be uplifted, while the innocents die in droves to protect them.
Nice.
I thought that one was going to be more upbeat than it was.
Do you know that is the story of my life? As I'm reading, I'll go, wow, this is really dark.
I don't know if I told you this story, Angela, but at the beginning of April, right before April, Max Booth III invited me to be a reader on a Bizarro egg hunt for the release of Michael Allen's book, Jurassic Christ. And I was like, yeah, I'm very honored. I love Michael. I've all these authors. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah.
A few days beforehand, he's like, hey, this is a comedy thing, so bring something funny. Max, have you ever read anything I've written? I'm not a funny man, Max. And so I ended up writing a piece about a Jewish citizen and a Roman soldier, both men, having sex in front of the crucifixion. And people seem to enjoy it. I thought it was funny. But yeah, when I was looking for things that I've already written, I was like, oh yeah, I wrote that thing. That should be fun. Oh no, this is awful. Oh no. Why did I write that? I need to see a therapist.
No. That's why we write poetry, right? It is therapy. Some of us just need to write more poetry.
She says with absolutely no ulterior motive.
Yeah, not me. Well, thank you. That was awesome. A lot to unpack there. I kind of felt like I need the words so I can really. That's definitely a poem to go into and just chew through slowly.
So part of my writing style was heavily influenced by hip hoppers like Del the Funky Homo Sapien, the Jizza. These are the guys that like I cut my teeth on poetry reading Poe and E.E. Cummings and Langston Hughes, and I love the poetry. I love like the soul and the storytelling in it. But then I heard hip hop, and the really like the best rappers out there are incredible storytellers that paint vivid pictures that create this percussive beat with their words, and I was enamored with it.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that leaks into my poetry. Unfortunately, a lot of that leaks into the way I read poetry, where I hit those constants and those internal rhymes really hard, really fast. And yeah, it can get a little raw. Like I think it sounds great.
Yeah.
So it's like, cool. Now, what did you say?
Yeah, well, because there's so much information going through at quite a quick clip. Say that 3 times fast, a quick clip. So yeah, I was actually like, all right, do you have this published anywhere? Like, is there a place that somebody can go?
So, I have my big anthology that you did the forward to, the Configuration Discordant. It is on Amazon and is actually now on Godless.com. If you want to support indie horror that way, Godless.com is an incredible way to do that. We get better royalties from doing that than we would from if you bought it through Amazon. But I also have my second book of poetry, The War of Dictates, which is a novella. I read some of that last time I was on. It's a splatterpunk book. It has some extreme horror elements. So there's some trigger warnings, specifically gore, violence, and sexual abuse. Although on top of saying that, let me say that I, as a personal role as a publisher and an author, I never portray sexual violence in a positive light. But it is there, and I want people to know that before they pick it up and, read something that could potentially trigger PTSD. But it's been nominated for Splatterpunk Award. I'm very proud of it.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It is, as far as I know, it is the first book of poetry to be nominated for a Splatterpunk Award. It is also the first Jewish book to be nominated for a Splatterpunk Award, and it's definitely the first Talmudic book of poetry to be nominated. But you know, the hard thing for me is I write longer forms of literature mostly. I write novellas and novels. And so when I write something like this, it's almost a one-shot that I write specifically to perform, as opposed to like what I do when I sit down to publish is I'll write, I'll write something that's meant to be part of a giant novella or a novel. And then those poems tend to be 10 darn minutes long. Like last time when I was reading the first like segment of War Dictates, I was like, oh, I'm still reading. And like the last dude read a poem that was 10 seconds long.
Oh, that's funny.
So I feel like these poems, they'll eventually find a home. I'll eventually do another giant ass collection, and I'll to let you know when you need to write the forward for that.
Yeah, I have to get that because I thought I had a copy and I was looking for it the other day to tell somebody about it. I was like, "What the hell?" Or I've lent it out already. Which is also a thing.
After this is over, send me your address. I will sign you a copy and mail it over to you.
I'm actually going to share it in chat. Well, when Blaise is reading, so I'm not just sitting here while you all watch me type. Or feel free to share it. But also, what was the other thing that you said? God list?
God list. Here in can I even? I don't think I can type in the comments, but
yeah, go to public comments. Yeah.
I am the newest author on there.
Nice.
It's an incredible home for indie horror. It's brand new. He got started. Drew Setep. I probably got that wrong. Sorry, Drew. Got started in March.
Names wrong.
And what's really exciting is I have just signed a verbal agreement. I didn't sign anything. I just made a plan. I am working on a special project for Godless right now.
Nice.
That anyone who knows me will be very excited about, I think. I can't tell you any more details than that, but it's going to be pretty it's going to be intense and also extreme.
We do have a private chat if you do feel like sharing, like you just have to unburden yourself. It's kind of like confession for Jewish people and non-Jewish and non-Catholic and non-Christian or Christian. It's a mix. Confession right there in private chat. So feel free, John.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will. Okay, let me say this, and then I'll cede the floor because I think you'll appreciate it. When I was writing the Configuration Discordant, my father-in-law was living with us, and every time I would finish a poem, I would read it to my wife, and almost every time my father-in-law would come out, look at me, and say, "I need a fucking lock on my door." Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You're safe.
The greatest compliment a writer, well, I should say a dark writer can have. Awesome. And I am actually sharing the Configuration Discordant link in chat. Whoops.
Thank you.
If it actually would paste. And then we will have Blaise. Let's see if Blaise is ready. But thank you, John. I'm so glad you made it because I was kind of like, we're not very equal here without our token male, I mean.
We got, yeah. It's all good. I think a massive showcase of the incredible talent of our female writers is always a wonderful thing.
Yeah, he does know how to sweet talk us. But, all right. Thank you. Are you going to read at the end again?
Yeah, I will. I have another piece.
All right. Awesome. All right. Let's go see Blaise and see what Blaise is doing. Ready?
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh, do I have to introduce myself again?
Maybe just really quick, just because John
Okay.
was like, behind the power curve. But yeah, and then tell us a little about your poem, and then come in. Not that I want to say John is behind the power curve, but he was.
So hi, John, welcome. Yeah, I enjoy writing poetry. I enjoy writing short fiction. I do like horror, speculative fiction, speculative poetry. That's kind of my thing. I like sci-fi, that sort of thing. I'm kind of new to writing. I've always been writing. I'm new to having published work in the last year or so. So I've really gotten into it as something to help myself kind of just get through life. And yeah, so the one that I'm going to read, just let me bring it up here. So I don't want to say too much about it when I first read it, but maybe afterwards I'll tell you sort of what it's about and what it comes from, because I always like people to sort of think about their own imagery when they're going to hear it. So this poem is called Merciful. Spiced ginger floating upon curious winds, a temptation of confection perfected. Your children will not suffer. I will swallow them whole, unlike you, who, with your poisoned tongue and petrified heart, pick them apart until nothing is left. I, at least, am merciful, fattening a calf before the slaughter, indulging desire, gifting the sweet seduction with no strings attached. Your fragile ego is no match for my mercy, which will usher them out of this world, still loving themselves. So that one's a little bit inspired by Hansel and Gretel.
Oh, I see that.
I just had this image of the witch in her house, in her gingerbread house, and I started thinking that she would be merciful to these children because her stepmother like sent them out into the woods. Their father left them there to starve to death, and the witch was helping. She was feeding them, and then she was going to let them leave this world with full tummies and understanding that someone was going to take care of them instead of just abandoning them. So as much as people portray this witch as this evil thing, just wanting to eat children, but she was doing them a favor. She was showing them mercy. So that's kind of where that idea came from.
I like that. And I'm always a fan of the monster's perspective, because very often what we
me too.
say as a monster is just our misperception, or our, we don't understand what their motivation is. So
yeah, and I always feel like they get a bum rap. So and I always think like, oh my goodness, like the witch it was in her nature. That's what she's going to do. Like that's part of who she is. And at least she wasn't going to, she was eating these children because it was in her nature, and it should never be in a parent's nature to abandon their child, which their parents did. So I think like she was just being who she was, and she was showing them some sort of kindness. So they were going to leave this world knowing that they were cared for.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I certainly, if somebody is about to eat me, you can sweeten that up by giving me chocolate and all the sweets I can eat. That will make me happier.
It's a good way to go.
Yeah, exactly. You can eat all of this, but then you're going to be eaten. Yeah. Okay. I mean, if you don't really have a choice.
Yeah, I mean, they were getting eaten no matter what, but they were getting planned to get eaten. Of course they don't, but in my version, they do. They get eaten whole.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, that is like the whole meat of the meat, no pun intended, the meat of the Hansel and Gretel story.
Yeah, that's how it should have ended.
I will say, you look so nice. You look like such a nice person. Now I'm scared.
Don't let this fool you. Yeah, I have a heart. I have a black evil heart. It's terrible. I just like dark stuff. I think I just think it's that part of us that has to exist. It's in everybody. So I like to celebrate it.
Yeah, exactly. And like I would say with Amy L, if we hide it, there's part of our culture, that whole Puritan thing, where you don't talk about it, you just shove it under the rug, and that's where a lot of really crappy dark stuff happened, because it's not out in the light. I do think it's important to talk about stuff.
And I think Amy, like I'm sure you can hear me, I think that Amy's piece that she read was so important. I too have depression, and I think that I'm at a point in my life where like I wouldn't be ashamed if I had heart disease. Why would I be ashamed that I have depression? And I
Yeah.
think that the reason it is such a problem is because we don't normalize it. And
Yeah.
it's totally normal. And I can be a normal human being that just happens to have my brain chemistry needs something different. Like,
Exactly.
yeah. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I
well,
can't wait to read her book.
it is
because
awesome. It is
I'm
awesome.
like, I'm excited. I think that's going to be, I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am in love with that book, and also, like she said, trigger warning, which is good, and what John was talking about, having a
Yeah.
trigger warning on it. I like that, and it also makes me want to read it more because I do like to be offended and triggered, and
Yeah.
disturb
And I think
me,
too,
please.
I feel bad, Amy, that happened to you, that so many people couldn't see the artistry and the emotion in your work and saw it as something that was like negative. I mean, I don't know. People like that are ignorant to me. Like, you really, like, you might not like certain things, but you have to understand the perspective of where it's being written from, and can't just like shut it down because you didn't like it talked about something that you didn't like.
Yeah.
Like,
I
that's
want to
not
bring Amy up real quick. I don't want to shock you, Amy, but I'm going to bring you up since we're talking about you.
Because that's like you're critiquing a piece, and like you're critiquing something that like makes no sense, because like what you're writing about is that's the heart of it, and you can't just be like, well, I liked your style, but I didn't like this. Like, that to me is stupid. So I feel bad that happened to you. I mean, I'm sure it was a learning experience, like you said, that you learned some things from that, but I just thought people are jerks.
They are.
Like, I don't like people. I'm not a people person. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It was definitely a learning experience, and it kind of helped me see things from their perspective a little too, because I'm very like dark by nature, and I think what it's going to come down to for me is to learn how to express that in a way that's true to myself and does what I want to do, but also is in a way that other people, like that other mass of people who aren't really ready for that, in a way that they can understand, or that they can at least be prepared for. So yeah, because I totally agreed. At first I was like, well, if you don't like a book about this, like, don't read it, first of all. Second of all, just because you don't like a theme, that doesn't mean I'm supporting it. That just means I'm going into it from a different perspective. But
yeah,
I mean, there's some people like that. There are a lot of nice people too. Like, I think Austin Gregg is his name.
Yeah.
He read it I loved his review. It was really nice. So I was grateful for that. And there's some other good ones too, but I do want to get it to like the right crowd of people, so that people can enjoy it, but also it can like be out there a little more. It's really depressing when like you write stuff and like you either get slammed or like it's just like it's a hard thing,
Yeah.
And I think you like finding that right audience, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, you got to find that, like, what is, like, you're a cup of tea, and like you're not going to be the same, like the right flavor for everybody, right? Like, sometimes it's just you have to take it for what it's worth, because that person clearly doesn't view the world in the same way, or isn't open, I guess, to viewing the world in that way. And I think some people just are closed to that. So whatever.
It does make me mad though, because like I don't like chitlet. I don't like chitlets either. I don't like that chicklet. That whole like, you went shopping and the guy came along and whatever. I don't know what else happens in those.
Oh, okay.
I hate those, but I wouldn't critique one. Like, the writing was great and I really loved how she did it, but 1 star, because I hate this topic. I hate everything about shopping. It's the same thing.
That's to me. I'm like, I would never do that. That's not a review. That's not how you treat people's work. Like, if you don't like it, then don't review it.
Yeah, or don't judge the topic by the writing, the quality.
Yeah, exactly. Especially to say like, oh, I like the writing, but I didn't. But it had a rape scene, and that's what really got to me, that one review. Because I'm like, if you hate it, you hate it, okay. But like, don't just for that reason. Like, I just thought it was kind of immature, and then that rating is up there, and then people see it, and you're just like,
well. And I don't think people appreciate that. I don't think people understand that those little stars can make such an impact on a writer and who sees their work and who now wants to go read their work. They just think they're like a Yelp review, or they think they're, I don't know, they just think they're reviewing something that doesn't affect someone, and they can just, 1 star because, and that it doesn't have any value. Yeah. So I think clearly that person's not a writer, or they don't understand the process of how reviews work. So
They don't realize this is actually our heart and soul.
Yeah.
Set out
And
for
like that
you guys to mock.
they're not being constructive. They're just being damaging rather than constructive.
That's what got to me. That's where it tugged at my heart a little bit, because I was like, you're not taking it seriously, like, you know. But it's done. I learned. That was actually a review service, because I didn't know how to get reviews. I was like so naive to the whole thing. And now I know, definitely go through horror writers, talk to people like Angela, like Blaise, like people like yourself, like people who are going to take it seriously, rather than just a bunch of random people off Goodreads. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'm glad you
they're
wrote
all
it. I'm
waiting
excited to
sticklet.
read it.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it if you do. I can send you a free copy if you want.
Oh, that'd be awesome. You don't have to. I can buy a copy. I can support you.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you.
That's what I always say. You know, we make so little. I want you to have your 30 cents.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a heart.
Yeah. Are you ready to read, Amy?
Oh yeah, sure. Okay, this is a new one. This one hasn't been published anywhere. It's just something that, it's a little different because it's not dark, really. I mean, in a way it is, but it's a totally new thing. So I decided to try it out. It's called Relentless. Trembling under the bed covers, shrouded in darkness, a small boy is wide awake, his mind fixating to the lullabies of old creaky wood. Hovering beside him, emanating dazzling translucent light, she listens to his struggles, embracing him, her rays sympathizing, loving, pacifying, to the dirge of his tears. Of her he is unconscious. Human senses are not tuned to the frequency of non-physical things. And although he is blind to it, he too bears a glowing light. It fills his small body, like an undulating hologram, vibrant with intellect and acuity, shimmering with will and honor, whirling with an endless creativity, sparking with illimitable potential. Yet he sees only ragged clothes over pale flesh, feels the drafts from the cracked window, hears the silence of the empty house, and mistakes his true essence. He is not the only one. As blind as he, others devalue and challenge and abandon this most incomparable boy. As he grows, as they execrate, his soul buds filaments of a new energy, bleak and jagged and heavy energy, and it weaves sinisterly over his soul. Under its net, his soul suffocates and splits, pitching him in storms of rage and sadness. Always she remains by his side, tenderly unknotting the jagged black filaments as fast as she can, loosening their hold and drinking them in. Her light, her love, transforms each bitter filament into glittering peace and determination, which she uses to stitch up his wounds. Her comforts are silent to his ears, but felt in his heart. In these vicious times, his tears are not only his own. She longs for him to feel her embrace, to trust he is never forsaken, and to know his oblivion to her is torment. But this partnership doesn't work that way. Instead, she takes expert care of him, constantly surveilling, seeking far before his steps, leading him through intuition and curiosity to find opportunities and realize dreams. She helps him hone his skills and delights at the brilliant light his creations emit in this dark, cruel world. She rejoices in his every splendid gift, and again as others touch their mediums and experience their energy, and their own lights brighten. She sees his energy traveling through them, through others, and others, and others, brightening, enlivening, inspiring. Tirelessly she assists him, her soul love, so that she may find him well, years later, long after she's turned over her guardianship and been born into the physical realm.
Ooh, I like that. That's one of the things that I first liked when I read The Man. It's just that wordplay. You've got such a dark vein, even though like that's not necessarily as dark, you still got that wonderful dark gravity, you know. So yeah, well done. I really like that. Thank you. So, well, I guess we're on to Amy Z, and I actually thought that we were gonna not have enough time, but yeah, we are doing perfect. So leave a bunch of women. We can fill up an hour, right? So, all right, Amy Z, you ready? All right. Hit it, girl.
All righty. This is one that I put together back in a few years back called Spasm and Howl is the name of the collection. That's my son at Sears. We're like, get it out of your system now because Grandma wants you to do a portrait. So he's doing his fun faces. But anyway, I used to just get books printed up at the university thing and like give them out to people compulsively. That's not weird. This is called enchanted cave candy. The lemon drop. The lemon drop from 1964. The lemon drop from 1964 resided in a large industrial tin in the same set of caves turned fallout shelters. The same caves set in a Missouri hillside, hosting the Cavern Recording Studio, where in 1969, Kansas City's former Fabulous Four and that fellow from the Electric Prunes recorded that delicious, fuzzed out, enraged slab of vinyl, Mustache in Your Face. Oh, the anger, the glorious, seductive, psychedelic wrath. She'd done him wrong. Well, not 20 years later, I sucked the lemon drop from 1964. Dad worked for the city. Cold War pretty well behind us. He'd always pointed to those caves from the car. That's where you go in case of emergency. And I saw myself pedaling my red Schwinn 10-speed for all I was worth, my Le Bag jammed with Babe Cologne, Wham tapes, clandestine Avon lipstick, and Twizzlers, bombs falling, public hysterical. But one summer day, Dad, home from work, says, "Here, have a lemon drop." So we did, 1987. And soon learned that was from 1964, stashed in the caves for the kiddies in case of nuclear winter. My sister, with her hair trigger gag reflex, probably didn't keep hers for long. Whereas I, having just discovered the Beatles and the delirium of hormones simultaneously, I cherished it, a near holy relic, a kiss from the lips of George Harrison in his prime, vague, dutiful fears of Red Dawn dissolved on my tongue, sacred, sweet lump of guitar bells, backing vocals, and drainpipe trousers, mixed with lemon extract and cooked to the hard crack stage, and radiated warmth through my belly. A testament to the universal and time-bending magic of sugar. I think so.
I love it. You know, and crack, when you say crack, yeah, I know you're not referring to crack, but that is my relationship with sugar. It's like, yeah, I need a lemon drop.
Oh, man. I know. I was like, oh, and it was an old lemon drop. A true story. Tasted fine. But my dad is just like, here, you know, have a lemon drop. Or I'm like, okay. So we should have known. But I didn't mind. To me, it was very romantic. My sister would be totally grossed out. So.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Fun times.
Yeah.
Do you know
and
the
I
caves
like
off the 291? If you're going down 291, if you go north,
I
on
haven't been there yet, but I've seen them.
I can't remember what they're called. Space something or other, but yeah.
I thought they were just called the caves. So
we call them the caves in the vernacular. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And it used to be a recording studio in the 60s. And one day on Record Store Day, when they have like new and rare things, we used to always go years ago. And they were like, this is a group that recorded in those in the caves in Independence. And we were like, what?
Wow.
So
are you kidding? Like, did the Beatles really record there?
Not the Beatles, a group from Kansas City called the Fabulous Four, and then this guy from another group called the Electric Prunes, and they had this crazy song about anger, about some chick who did him wrong, and they're like, what a lie, mustache in your face. Look it up if you're intrigued. Look up the title "Mustache in Your Face." I'm sure it's on YouTube, and it's an experience.
I am going to have to go find that and share it in chat.
Lordy blue. Mustache in your face. Just like it sounds.
It sounds like something pornographic. So hopefully, you know, it's not like a blue waffle Google search, but
19. Well, if you do it on YouTube, oh gosh, I don't know what name they went under. Oh, dang. When they recorded that. Otherwise I'd tell you. The caves.
That's funny.
I'll play it on my harp.
Did you play it on your harp for one of your Sunday things? Okay.
I'm going to now. Yeah.
And when you do, I'm going to like copy and paste over some lyrics.
There you go.
Because I'm going to go look this up.
Yes. What a lie. Just put in what a lie, mustache in your face. You get the right thing.
I know. I am like dying to go look this up now.
Oh,
I have a new tab open. I'm going to get John up. John, you going to finish us out? All right, John's ready. I'm going to go look up Mustache in Your Face.
Do it.
I can't help this. All right, let's get John up here. I can't help but refer to you as our token male. I'm sorry, John.
That's okay. Usually I'm the token Jew, so. It's all fine.
You're our token Jew male, so we are okay.
Where's Max? Maxwell, why have you
know, what the
forsaken
heck?
me?
Yeah, apparently he didn't get the memo that we'd switched because of StokerCon to this week. Because I think it was this morning, I got an email that says, wasn't this on the 21st? I said, yes, it was. But I don't think you got that last email.
So I actually wrote this next poem for last time's. It is called Never Voted. Again, I don't usually write political stuff. I write horror stuff, but I don't know. Apparently I have a bug up my ass. Sorry for the running water. Daughter's taking her bath. Do you know what I like about the world? It's constantly ending and beginning again, condemned to a sinful expanse of molecules crashing together like fossil fuels and rockets racing towards unsuspecting mothers buying urns for children killed in wars they didn't vote for. Flowers bloom while shadows loom overhead, silhouettes of Armageddon brought on by carrion feeders posing as leaders against the backdrop of burning flags and shattered knees, and those self-same mothers aren't even allowed to grieve before their kids are painted up like soldiers, casualties in a war they never voted for. Trees burn down and then burst out of ash-enriched soil. Seas boil and fish float up in an industrial heat waste that we can't avoid seeing because the light pollution has hidden the ignorance we used to hide our crimes from weeping eyes. Eyes stained with the blood from mothers torn apart by the hounds of a war they never voted for. Mothers who rise up and lie down, selling themselves cheaply to war-wounded soldiers, earning just enough to provide bullets for boys that must be men and women denied girlhood. Wolves wolfed down the remains of a humanity that had no mercy on the world around it, a shattered vessel of light spewing darkness and vomiting wrong and right on storytellers too muddled by muddied waters to even mention healing a world infected by a people who can't be bothered to care. We see solutions, but instead murder those caring for the drowning out wails of widows who lost partners to a war they never voted for. Every beginning ends in the time-sliced flesh of eternity. Every ending promises new horrors for the whores who just want to see a light not birthed by napalm and chlamydia-drenched fevers. No more sons or daughters, no more poets or authors, no more charred art exhibits built in the amphitheaters of our hearts. All has been devoured by a war we never voted for.
So sad. That is such a sad poem. Like, I don't think of you as a sad poet. I think of you as violent and crass, but I like it.
Crass?
Sorry.
Can you believe her? Desiree.
I'm sorry,
Angela
did I
just said
say
I
that?
was crass.
I'm sorry.
Desiree says you're right and says I should shut up. Okay, here's the thing. I'm a father.
Oh, well, that explains everything.
And like one of my rabbis once said, like, hey, this is all you have control of. Anything beyond this point, you don't have any control over the world. And I really, really worry about the kind of world that is being left for my daughter. There's a song by Atmosphere where one of the lines is, I don't feel anger, I feel embarrassment. I might be the last generation of grandparents. And, as someone who is both a father and a religious person, I know that's not shocking to anyone. What am I saying? It's painful for me to think that the things that have brought me joy, the things that I've enjoyed, my wife has said many times, like, I'm worried that my daughter will have less rights than I did. And my rights as a woman in America weren't fantastic to begin with. So there are all these things I think about. And I think about, my little brother is in the Navy. Mm-hmm. He got a desk job. Thank Hashem. So he's not in danger, but he wanted to go on a submarine. And what if he had? And what if I lost my baby brother to this thing that I'm vehemently opposed to? And this particularly is poignant right now because of what's happening in the Middle East, and people will jump on me a lot of times because I am Jewish, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, you have to believe this." I'm like, "No, I don't have to believe this. You have to support this, or you have to boycott this, or you have to do this." And I always think about the human element. Like, I read an article that said at the time of the writing, it was 13 children had been killed by missiles in like 2 days, and like they're not like. The kids didn't fucking say, I want there to be a temple. The kids didn't say, I don't want these people to live here. The kids said, I want to play cat. And it makes me very angry. I write horror. I write dark, scary stuff. But like, it doesn't hold a candle to the terror that actually exists now.
Oh, yeah.
And that said, like, tonight is Shabbat, the Jewish, day of rest and all that. And we have a wonderful holiday on Monday. Not this Monday, next Monday. This Monday. Sorry, this coming Monday, called Shavuot. It's one of my favorite holidays. I stay up all night. You are supposed to drink coffee, smoke cigarettes, and read. It's chef kiss.
Dang, why? I am interested. You're selling me on this.
Point is, we're here together, all of us poets. And we are engaging this thing we love with people all across the country. And we get to enjoy being together. And like, people pay us to write words. Like, how insane is that? That's amazing. I had a conversation today with someone from Godless because we're planning a series. And he's like, man, I hope you're excited about this. And I said, dude, I'm nearly 40. I spent most of my years in sales, and now I'm being paid to write stories about murdering Nazis. Like, this is great. I'm
Life
so happy.
Good.
Yeah, exactly. So as angry as I get sometimes, and as hopeless and sad as some things sometimes seem, doing events like this, seeing friends like you, and meeting new friends like the Amy's and Blaise, it gives me hope, and it gives me joy, and these are the kind of things I hope my daughter gets to experience and enjoy with whatever endeavor she chooses to take part in.
Awesome. I like that. I'm going to bring everybody back up. So hope you're all ready. Nobody went to the bathroom.
I am going to the bathroom as we speak.
See, there's that class part. We did have the high poo thing, so.
I brought my poo.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for doing this. We actually wound up going a little bit over, so I apologize for the time. I was thinking with the four of us, we weren't going to have enough time, but we filled it up quite well. But yeah, anybody have any last comments?
Thank you for letting us come on here.
Tell about the holiday one more time with the coffee and the cigarettes.
Okay. Look.
We all want to do this.
Yeah,
right.
I'm Catholic, and we don't have that holiday.
You're Catholic. You love wine. You should. Okay.
Well, I said, like, we can stay up and drink. Like, that's a big thing. But like, we don't get like the day to go and like stay up all night and read.
So there's two holidays. Remind me some other time to tell you about Purim, which is drunken Jewish Halloween.
Whoa.
Monday.
Why are we not all Jewish?
I ask this question all the time.
Oh no, Jesus was Jewish. I can be Jewish, right?
Shavuot is Shavuot used to be this like really like kind of holiday that people dreaded. They're like, oh man, you're supposed to stay up all night and read. It's gonna be you study Torah. That's what Shavuot is. And then the Turks came about, and they brought us coffee and cigarettes. And the rabbis at the time were like, "Hey, you know what's super good? This coffee. What if there was a holiday where we could just like drink coffee and smoke?" And the rabbis were like, "Well, we can't just like we can't just make up a holiday. Are you insane? No, that is not how God works." Another rabbi was like, But God made God made the coffee, right? Well, yes, obviously. God made the tobacco, right? Well, yes, obviously. God made the Torah? Well, yes, that's the whole point of the religion. What if we just took the Torah holiday and made it a coffee and tobacco holiday too? No, we can't. That might work. So, since the age of the Ottoman Empire, which was very, very, very good for the Jewish people in the Middle East, massive time of Jewish mysticism and mathematics, beautiful time living in Arabic Middle East. It morphed into this holiday that was like, stay up and study. And so what I do every year for Shavuot is I load up on black tea, because I prefer tea to coffee. I get a cigar, and I play through a game called El Shaddai, Journey of the Metatron, which was a game based off the Book of Enoch. And I play through the entire game and stay up all night. And it's like it's the most pure expression of who I am as both a person and a Jew.
Oh, applause!
Oh,
How are we gonna do this? We should do something on this holiday. I think the Lord would dig that.
I know.
We-
As a sign of unity between all.
Yes.
Interfaith.
Oh, and
Interfaith coffee.
interfaith. Yes.
Yeah.
An interfaith holiday.
If you ever want to experience a holiday and you're worried that someone's going to be like, "Oh, that's appropriation," just like, no, it's interfaith.
Yeah.
Interfaith.
Yeah.
Good. Yes.
We like
Nice.
that. We like
Unity.
that.
We're trying to unify here. We're
My
trying
friend
to
is-
find common ground.
My friend is getting married in September, and she asked me to officiate her wedding. And the kid, she's like, "I really want to do this Jewish thing, but is that like appropriation?" It's like, well, Isis, you're Mexican Catholic. Mexican Catholics only exist because Jews fled to Mexico. And as she looked, every time she looked into it, she would be like, "Wait a second, this Mexican tradition is super Jewish." Like, yeah, it is.
That works.
So
Awesome.
my.
Oh.
All right. Well, I leave it to you to plan this holiday for all of us. I
Oh,
do
boy.
have cigarettes in my freezer
I do
that
too.
I save for Halloween, and now apparently what holiday is it again?
Shavuot.
Shavuot. So I'm gonna
Shavuot.
be
like-
looking at that.
I like that
down.
the end of all these poetries turns into Judaism 101 with the weird
We appreciate
Jewish
your
guy.
patience. We need it.
Awesome. Well,
I
thank
used
you
to
guys.
always check out Jewish cookbooks. Yeah. All right.
I am going
Great.
to end this because I have dogs starting to freak out over here. That is my time limit. They're like, "You're done." I am getting ready to go
Well,
hang
thank
out
you.
in Twitch. I found out streaming, listening to people stream and doing layout is the bestest way for me to feel like I am not alone and isolated. So I put the link up. If you guys want to keep chatting with me, I will be over there doing some layout on this short book that Lee Murray and I decided to write.
I am so jealous she wrote a book with Lee Murray.
You know what? It was fun. I loved working with her.
I'm
It
trying
was
to convince
awesome.
Lee Franklin to do a book with me
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
because neither of us are bloody enough on our own, apparently.
Bloody. Did you say bloody?
Yeah.
Because I have read your work. How much
you read-
blood does anybody want?
Have you read Nang Tani by Lee Franklin yet? I'm sorry. I know we're leaving, but look, if you want some angry feminist literature, Nang Tani is an exquisite extreme horror, feminist revenge. I spit on your grave-esque level of violence towards shitty men.
I am looking it up.
It's also short.
What?
I read it in an afternoon.
Spell that?
Nang Tani. Nang Tani.
Honey.
Nang Tani. It's a Thai goddess.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go
Nang
look
Tani.
for that. I'm going to look for that.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Angela. It's nice to
Thank
join
you. This was fun, you
my
guys.
friends south of the border. I feel kind of like I'm like this little Canadian in the corner. But it's really nice to be here tonight. And Amy, I want to hear that mustache song on your harp. I saw a video of you
Okay.
doing a song on the harp, and I want to see you do this like mustache lie song on the harp because I
Oh.
think that would be hilarious.
I will get everything. I promise.
I did
Okay, that'll
find
be
it,
really
and I
good.
kind of listened to it a little bit, but of course, not too much because we're here.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go
Right.
play it right after this. Oh, and get the Exquisite
pleasure.
Corpse thing up because somebody should do that over at
Right.
Space and Time. I don't know who's running that thing.
I don't know. I've been waiting. I'm like, when is it there?
Yeah.
No, not today.
I know
but
somebody's a
right.
slacker.
Life happens. Life
I know.
happens.
Unfortunately, it keeps happening. No, wait, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
That's kind of how it's supposed to work, right?
Yeah.
You need another
Awesome.
fairy walk. So to
Thank you
remember.
so much, guys, for being
Thank
here.
you.
And I'm going to do it again next month on the third Friday, like when we're normally supposed to do it when Stoker isn't here. So if y'all want to jump in on that, I would love to have you back.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you for having me, and it was really nice to meet everyone.
Thank you.
I enjoyed hearing everyone's songs.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye. Thanks for coming in,
Bye.
John.
Thanks for having us.
Bye.